What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Legato Podcast. Here we have Mr. Jaime Rodriguez, Mr. J.
Drop the legal name. Oof.
Mr. J. I'm your host, Chris Amaya. Here we have, somewhat of a fairly new agent. Jay, how long have you been selling life insurance?
Shoot, man. Fourth month now.
Nice.
Remember? Yeah. This is month number 4.
Fourth full month. Okay.
Yeah.
And so obviously, the whole reason you're on here, obviously you started to get some good steam. Last month was one of your best months, right? And what'd you write?
25.
25,000. Yeah. Okay. So especially for people coming on, right at that $20,000 mark is when people really start to start doing well and whatnot. Obviously, what do you think it was for you? What changed? What was the thing that allowed you to do that?
Shoot, man. I think it's just the accumulation over the past 3.5 now into 4 months of, I yap a lot. Mm-hmm. I bounce between everybody's offices. But listen to your calls, Johnny's, Jesse's, Ty's calls, and then just kind of listen to the word tracks, their tonality, and then mix it into my own personality and seeing what's working for me. So, and really slowing down. I don't build any report in the script. I stick to the script. I go by each specific structure, but I'm not going word for word again because I'm freestyling it into my own.
Right? Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong. So now you've developed it to where it's it's your own script now, right? Obviously, to start on, really for anybody. When you start, right, we all talk about a script. You got to live and die by that script. Mm-hmm. Now that you've gotten good, right, you could start deviating slightly, but it's all the same communication. It's all intro. It's the why, structure, suitability, and so forth, right, to the presentation.
Oh, yeah. When I first started, it was the last week of October when I came in. Mm-hmm. And the first 2 weeks, it was I lived by this script, had it as my background on my phone. So before I wanted to do anything, I got that from Johnny, right? Before I go in, cool, read the script real quick. Yeah. All right. Go into IG, Facebook, right, whatever. But then on the way home, role playing by myself. I'm in the shower, role playing by myself,
nice.
Trying to, yeah, nice. Not playing with myself.
Maybe both. Yeah.
No, but it's you guys said it. Hey, learn the script in the first 2 weeks, then the rest will do itself. And then by then, man, the fact that there's certain people that the egos gets in the way and they don't, no, I'm good. I'm going to read the script. Numbers don't lie. I'll put it that way.
That's true. And I think, so even, you talk about that, right? Obviously ego could be something that could deviate, definitely, I would say a majority of agents. And real quick, we'll touch on that, but actually I do want to jump into your background.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you grew up in Colorado, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Western part of Colorado, small little town called Hotchkiss, Colorado. In other words, Grand Junction is what we all say because nobody knows Hotchkiss.
Yeah. Hotchkiss.
Population, 800 to 1,000 people. So small.
Dang. Yeah. Okay. So you grew up there. Were you in sports? What would that look like?
Sports since, T-ball, Pee-wee football, all the way to high school, played college ball. Then from there, live here in Denver now. So.
Okay. So, and what one would you play? Did you play football, baseball? Okay.
Yeah.
Sick. Heck yeah. So then obviously baseball, from what I know, where'd you play collegiately?
Shoot, man, I was all over the place started junior college, junior college, and then from there got an offer to go to Notre Dame. So nice. D1 ball.
Wow. Okay.
And then from there transferred out to University of Northern Colorado, go Bears.
Okay.
And from there, 2014, 15, transferred down to, moved down to Denver.
Okay. Yeah. And what got you into sales? So obviously, playing ball, did you study, business, communications?
Yeah, so
what did you study?
Was studying business and finance. And then from there, my uncle was in the dealer side, right?
Okay.
At a dealership, sold cars. He's like, hey.
Okay. I'm glad. I was like, dealer, what do you mean?
No. So he's like, hey, if you want to, make good money, go sell cars. Good sales experience, good money. I'm like, okay. And he's like, but one thing I'm going to tell you to this day, man, it's stuck to my head. He's like, one thing I'll tell you, once you're in, good luck getting out. He's like, what do you mean by that? So he's like, you'll know. I remember I went full time after it once I was done with school.
Right.
And shoot, I think like my first month, like when it really clicked, it was like month 2. I made like $5,000. And I was like,
Well, hell yeah.
You know, at that time I'm 21?
Okay.
Right. And I'm just like, whoa, $5,000, that's a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
And
Especially
then
for a 20
next month it just accumulated, right? Then it was like 8, then 10, then 12, then 15, just by slinging cars. I'm like, oh, okay, this is what he means by good luck getting out. So then, shoot, I did 10 plus years in the car business.
10 years.
But I originally started detailing cars part time. Then, you know, beer money. That the GM came and recruited me. He's like, hey, come sling cars, check it out. And I did it for like a month and I quit. I started a GMC store. Okay. I quit because I was like, dude, this is not for me. I'm a shy dude. Like deep down, I'm shy. Like I'm quiet.
And you would never know that, by the way. Like if you know Jay, like
no,
you
like,
talk to everybody. Like.
People that know me know, but
yeah,
I'm like quiet. And then went and worked for my buddy. And I was like, you know what? Let me give it another try. I went to a Subaru store, and I was like, I just need to force myself, and that's when it clicked. And yeah, sold after a year, got promoted as a closer, and then from there, slowly kind of worked up the chain. Right. Was on the desk as a sales manager, and then was a finance, and that was kind of like the last role.
And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, because so Jay, yourself, like you and like even one of my best friends, right, Hutch, like you guys work together. Did you guys start like right at the same time? Out of curiosity?
Yeah, kind of around that same time.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean that's how we connected, right? Yeah, from just that little small group, which is crazy, man. Just like full circle.
Dude, it's wild.
Yeah, so shout out Hutch.
Yeah, shout out Hutch.
Yeah, so he introduced me to you, and then eventually, like after that, a few years later, like we reconvene at the gym.
Yeah, dude, that was wicked.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and we'll get to that later, but so I was at the store, then I left, then I went the corporate route. Right, so I went corporate. I was a regional development director. The last role was with Honda.
Okay, with Honda. And real quick, why did you go corporate? So obviously you're in finance. I mean, was that just like the next step up in that progression, or like were you just tired of the car dealership? Like,
yeah, I was tired of the hours, man. I mean, you worked in there.
Yeah.
Sucked. Monday through Saturday, 10 hours daily minimum. Right. Saturday, which was fine. The money was good back then. That's all I cared about.
Yeah.
And the older I was getting, I was like, dude, I'm missing so much like on friends. And I guess, again, that's just like that point. That's where my mind was at.
Right.
Then had an opportunity to go corporate. And I was like, cool. I was still in my mid-20s. I was single, and I was traveling the whole entire U.S., right? So it was nice. Good 6-figure income. And from there, right, then met Madison. We're engaged now. And things kind of, it changes when you're starting your own family. And
yeah, totally.
I was gone nonstop. I mean, fly out Monday morning, get back late Thursday night, sometimes Friday.
Oh, wow.
I mean, between of a span, like before I left to come here, between January to August, I flew nearly like close to 120 times.
Wow.
So I was never home.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty tough too. I mean, especially obviously, I mean, like, dude, like newly engaged, like, I mean, that's.
Yeah. It was a lot, which I'm grateful for though. But like the thing too was the corporate ladder, corporate America, doesn't matter if you hit quota, your numbers, it's like, I don't really care. You're just another body and another dollar sign for them. Right. Then threaten them. Oh, you didn't hit quota. Cool, man. You're easily replaceable. So it's like, you know what? I'm done with it. And I've always wanted to kind of go this route of like starting my own business. So yeah, of course, that's when you and I like slowly talked about life insurance back at Create You when we met.
Dude, long time ago. So before Jay was here, right? I mean, what you talked to me before I ever even sold life insurance, you were telling me like, hey, dude, like, you might want to go sell some life insurance. And this was 2 years ago? 2, 3?
Shoot, 3.
3 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And so, Jay and I, obviously, like, we met pretty much at the gym. That's where all of our relationships started. But dude, I remember, like, I know that obviously you sold, cars with my friend Hutch. And I mean, obviously that's how we met. But I remember at the time, like, you were selling some life insurance or like doing some type of life insurance, right? I guess, how come that didn't work out?
So I was with a different company. That was what, 2021 is when I got my license.
Okay.
Yeah, roughly around there. And that was with Premier Alliance. So they wrote all strictly business with NLG,
Okay.
right? National Life Group for the people that know.
Yeah. Which we have, by the way. We saw.
Yeah, but that's all who we wrote business with. But they're so heavily on recruiting. So it's like, all right, cool, man. Chris, bring me 5 of like your family members. I'll sell them to you and we'll split the commission.
Yeah.
Right. Also, while we're doing that, you go ahead and recruit 5 people, right?
Okay. So very much like sell all your friends, family. Like
Yeah.
that's, dude, how, yeah. I mean, obviously we don't do that here. Completely different.
Yeah.
Right?
And it was mostly, kind of like the Northwestern Mutual style. Grab a list of 100 people, AKA your family and your friends. And I was that guy at family gatherings, friends gatherings. Hey, man, you want some life insurance? And
like, no, Jay, stop coming to the barbecue.
no, literally. And I had like friends tell me we don't do business with friends, dude. And like now I like don't even, people like ask me, I'm like, cool, man, I'll refer you to somebody else. I'm not going to do business with you. It's just, it's a weird conflict for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. The comp, they started you very low, 35, 40%.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Then to get bumped, you'd have to get 5 recruits and like 5 sales to like the next tier.
It's a little pyramid-y, man.
No. Like look, no. So
wild.
it kind of was honestly like now the more like I'm in this side of the business, I like learn about like how to proper like how do you structure an IMO,
Yeah.
right? Like it was because I had to pay an admission fee of $200.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really weird. Okay, and really quick, just because I mean, obviously, like people are listening to this. For what we do here in the office, right? I mean, first and foremost, you said your comp started at 45%.
Yeah, it was like 45, 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here with what we do here, right? We start comp at either 65% on lead assist, meaning you're not paying out of pocket for your own leads. We kind of comp those costs. You just cover the cost of your CRM. Obviously we have tons of training, we have tons of support, tons of successful people here in office that have all sold 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, all the way up to $100,000 in a month. The way life insurance pays, you get about 75% cash advance. So you do the math. I mean, it's pretty damn good. So you're learning from the top people in the industry. We have warm leads, right? So obviously we're not recruiting friends, family, all this stuff. And like, hey man, like grandma, buy a policy. Hey, your mom, do this. Like, no, we're not doing that. You technically could, but like we don't recommend doing that.
Yeah.
Then with that as well, like there's no weird initiation. Like, I mean, dude, that's kind of,
No, it
that's
was
news
like-
for me. That's odd.
Yeah.
That's really odd.
Like my mentor at that point, she was good. She came from the car business. That's how she recruited. I learned a lot from her. And like, we still follow each other on Facebook and LinkedIn, and she's blown her business up. So I knew the money was there, but I was like, this is not for me. I'm good. I left. And then I was going through some, hardship during that time, and I started my own construction business.
Okay.
Hanging, drywall. And that sucked. Right?
What caused you to do that?
So, I mean, deep down, like, I lost my visa.
Okay.
So, lost my work visa. Of course, I was during the pandemic, and immigration offices were closed.
Right.
So I waited like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So was in the slums, was negative 10 degrees outside, hanging up sheetrock.
Yeah.
Absolutely hated it.
Right.
Not your typical Mexican.
Right.
I'm too white collar, man.
Yeah,
so
same, dude.
yeah, then from there, everything, thank the Lord, everything got situated, handled, and I went back to the corporate route, which was fine. And then, but I was just like, I always did that because it was a safety net, right?
Yeah, that safety net. And I think that safety net, man, that like messes with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really easy to get comfortable, especially if you're like, standard W-2, like, salary, whatever the case is. I mean, like even from what I was doing, obviously I could relate there to where it's like, no matter what, I knew at Verizon, like I could just show up and I'll make $100,000 a year, and that was like very safe to me. It's like, dude, it literally required zero effort. So especially doing something like this, that is, 100% commission. The only safety net is your work ethic and your ability to actually like follow schedules and whatnot, and just, work hard. It's definitely different, I guess. Obviously, so let's fast forward a little bit. So obviously you go through that, you're more or less doing the safety net. Like what made you say like, all right? And I think you alluded to earlier, right? It's obviously like You're being engaged, and what like made you want to get out of corporate America?
So when I was the company I worked for, I'm not their name. No free shout outs here.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of just change within the company, and then just like nonstop, just stress, man. Again, I would hit my numbers by over 120%. It was just like not good enough, not good enough. And also keep in mind they cut my pay 50%, and they wanted to be travel more.
Wow, that's wild.
So like to me, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Right.
Yeah, let's give you a pay cut, then expect you to work more. And increase
Yeah, and
numbers.
like again, it was my safety net, which was nice. I could have stayed there if I wanted, but it's like I want more, right? I'm very money driven because I came. I mean, illegal immigrants, man.
Yeah,
My parents came here to give me a better life. Now it's like I want to give that back.
same.
And corporates, just I'm never gonna make the higher person happy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, and you're always chasing behind someone's ass, right? Like you're always like,
Yeah.
no matter what, like there's always that person kind of above you,
And
right?
and here, like I knew that there's always money into it.
Mhm.
Right. And like when we talked about it back at Create You told me family first off. I was like, oh yeah, dude, no. Cause like during that time too, I signed with another agency out in Florida
Mhm.
with FFL.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, we'll start you at 110% comp.
Wow.
I was like, oh, okay. And they're like, buy leads. And I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
No script, no training.
Mm.
And at that time too, that agency owner was I think like a 4-time Hall of Fame producer too.
Really?
But it's just like no follow up. I had no idea. I was like, I'm good. I'm out. Then we spoke.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, dude, I wouldn't go that route because
Yeah.
my experience was bad.
Right.
And then like we stayed in touch. Of course, social media.
Social media,
I
man.
kept seeing your posts. I'm like, what the hell? And then like, I wouldn't say you were like trying to like twist my arm, but like, obviously I was always like dipping my foot
Yeah.
kind of in your business, just like seeing how you're doing.
You were, man.
And
You
then
were.
I remember it was like every other month I get a text, hey dude, we just figured out the self booking appointments thing.
Dude, holy smokes. Yeah. I
And I'm
remember
just
that
like,
text.
to me, I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know what that means, but I'm like,
Yeah.
cool, right? I didn't get it. And I was like, yeah, sure. You hooked me up with Ty,
Mhm.
and we spoke a little bit, and I was like, all right. I remember I was in BMF, just outside of Fresno, California,
Mhm.
and there's like dirt field, right? I'm like, I had an appointment. I'm like, I don't want to go. Like I was burnt out.
Yeah.
And I spoke with Ty, and I was like, cool, yeah, I'll be there tomorrow.
Mhm.
I blew him off. I like no called, no showed.
Oh, wow.
And because I was like, you know what, dude, my license is probably expired.
Yeah.
And like a week passed by, and I'm like, screw it. I looked at my license. I'm like, dude, this doesn't expire until May of 25. I'm like, what?
Oh, shit.
So then I was like, okay, cool. Hit him up again. And I think I texted you too. And he's like, yeah, come on in. And
Mhm.
I did. And yeah, he's like, yeah, come on in like next week.
Mhm.
I shadowed it, but I like came in twice.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Dude, it's funny. I remember the first time that you came in, I had no clue that you were showing up.
yeah.
I remember I go in and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh, what's up, Jay? What's going on, dude? I was like, you were all dressed all professionally. I'm like, I'm over here in like sweatpants and shit. And I'm like,
And I walked in, I was like, I don't know if I'm in the right place.
yeah.
No, because I literally just got out of a meeting, right, with our executive team, and I bailed lunch on them to come talk with you and Ty.
Mhm.
And yeah, the next week I remember I showed up. It was on like a Tuesday, Wednesday. Like was there for a few hours, shadowed, and I was like, ah. And then like the more I thought about it over the weekend, I was like, dude, this is not a business you do part time. You can do it part time,
You can.
like if you're just trying to add some extra cash.
Mhm.
But it's like full time. It's like you have to. And I said, screw it. Go in, full steam ahead.
Yeah.
Monday, ripped the phones. Sold one my first day with Ty.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that's cool.
Dude, wasn't I not even there that Monday? I think that.
No, yeah.
Yeah, that day. I don't know where I was.
Yeah, you were out, but then Tuesday you came in,
Yeah.
and then I closed one with you.
Right.
And then I looked at it, I'm like, cool, man, that's the last time you're ever going to close for me.
I remember.
I was
I remember. And that's actually, so that's something that's not really common. So typically what happens, right, you got new agents come on, right? They start, they hammer the script. They might be kind of like, a little bit of hand holding,
Yeah.
for about, 2 weeks or so. Maybe someone closes 5 of their deals, then they're full, on board to like close their own deals. I did notice that with you, man, like right away, you're like, nah, dude, I'm gonna close my own deals. Like that typically doesn't happen, but then your trajectory from like when you started like closing your own, dude. I mean, you sounded like really good. I mean, pretty damn quick. I mean, maybe a little quicker than me. Like your ability and skill was there. I guess, was it just like the money motivation of like, dude, I just want to make my own deals. I don't want to do any split deals, or like what was that for you?
Well, part of it, I mean, coming, being a car guy, like you never let somebody, like you never split your deals with somebody.
Right.
Right. I don't like sharing my money with anybody else.
You shouldn't. Yeah.
So that was part of it. But secondly, dude, I was scared as hell. I'm like, this is nothing to do with the car business. I don't know anything about insurance.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, okay, cool. Hey, Ty, send me the whole list of all the products, dude. I need to know everything. Mm-hmm. Right. So that was, kind of the two major factors. But like I mentioned, yeah, I was like, cool. I want to learn how do you close. I'll shadow you for a day or two. And that's what you and Ty told me. Then after that, if you want to rip by yourself, cool. And like, yeah, I come from a deep sales background, but I'm like, I don't know. Like, oh, you have a script? Cool, dude. I'll just read that.
Yeah.
Like, typically that does the job for you. And it does.
And it does.
But yeah, I heard you close. I was like, okay, cool. That's pretty easy. And then the next one, I was like, hey man, just show me how to quote, give me some quotes and I'll like fumble it. If I don't close it, it is what it is. But like, that's how I learned fast.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do you think? So obviously, I mean, like you said, you started, having a little bit of success, like, I mean, quite quick in my opinion, versus like, a normal agent. What was like that first like 30 to 90 days? I mean, you're really technically just at the end of those 90 days when you really think about it.
Script training. I mean, 8 a.m. I was there every morning for like the first month. And I mean, I have an hour commute, but I was like, I don't know anything right now.
Right.
I'm terrified. I need to make it work. So if they tell me show up to the script training, I'm going to show there. Right. After the 2 weeks, okay, got it. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, like a month in, like towards the end of November, my ego got in the way. I was like, oh, dude, this is easy. And then the chargebacks started coming. And I was like, okay, leave the ego outside. And like now, man, like I'm a sponge. I soak everything from everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important, man. Like having that, I mean, you talk about that, right? Having like the little bit of ego of like, oh man, I think I got this down.
Oh yeah.
And then that's right when you get fucking hit with some shit, 100%. Right? So like one of we always talk in the business is, I mean, there is chargebacks, right? So chargebacks, I mean, just explain to, let's say, anybody, if let's say I make $1,000 commission, I sold Jay a policy, let's say for whatever reason, maybe Jay can't afford the policy or he cancels because maybe I sold him the wrong product. The insurance companies like Mutual of Omaha, Aflac, whoever, they'll say, all right, Chris, now we already paid the $1,000 commission to you, but now you're going to owe that back to us. So we call that a chargeback. And obviously there's stuff that we do here to have like chargeback mitigation when it comes to downselling, which is obviously like totally different. But anyways, we downsell and we have other things that we do to prevent chargebacks. Make sure obviously like, let's say it's a client on Social Security, probably want that to draft on the 3rd or the 4th of every month. Make sure there's money there. Just small things like that, right?
Small things, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, like, right. I think when you're like, nah, I got this shit down, then you get hit. And the cool thing is like when they start to hit, like I noticed like you were really coachable with Ty and myself, like, all right, dude, like, hey, this shit's happening. Like, what do I need to do? And I think that's where a lot of people, they won't do that.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, again, I remember like 2-3 weeks in, I went up to Ty and you, and I was just like, all right, hey, every time you guys walk past me, just throw me a random objection to see if I can get it. Like, because I mean, in this business, you have to be on your toes, especially with telesales, man.
Oh yeah.
Right. You say one, or trip over your words.
You're done.
You're done. Game's over.
Yeah.
And so like, it's crazy. Cause like I preach that to like a lot of the new guys here. And sometimes they just kind of look at me like, what do you mean? Or like, what are you saying? So I don't know. I'm passionate. Like now I'm to the point, like I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
And like, I'm very emotional when it comes to figuring out the why.
Oh yeah, dude. And bro, and I'll tell you what, man, like I heard, I think you were closing a deal in Easton's office and then, I was just there, doing some admin stuff and I was hearing your close, dude. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you sound really good.
I mean,
it's
again,
really neat.
I might just get another chest tattoo that says no why, no buy, man. Because I mean, that's, if you can't figure out the why, I don't think you get the close.
Oh, for sure. Or even too, like, let's say like you strong arm somebody and like, whatever, let's say you strong arm them, they close. Like the client needs to know that's the best decision that they made for their family. So then obviously if you just strong arm somebody, guess what? They're going to call the insurance companies. Actually, hey, yeah, let me cancel this.
Yeah.
Or hey, let me turn this off because it's not important. So yeah, building that why is extremely important. And anyways, obviously, so now like, dude, like you're starting to have a good amount of success. Like it's pretty cool. Obviously, you and I, we went to annual convention. Annual convention, for those of you who don't know, it's like the biggest event that the insurance company runs. It's a massive event, 3-day event where we had like Deion Sanders speak, Eric Thomas, Tim Grover, all the agents who are succeeding in the office. Like it's a massive event.
Yeah.
Like seeing all that stuff, man, like it's really cool, dude. Because obviously, you know, we know each other on a personal level, like, you know, before all this stuff's happened, and like to like succeed with some of your boys is really neat.
Dude, that's what I love, like coming to the office. Like, yeah, the hour commute sucks. When I work from home, I don't get anything done. Right? Come here, it's like, okay, hey, I didn't close here. I can come to you. I can run into Ty. I can run into the top guys here and be like, hey, how would you have handled this?
Right.
So it's like instant feedback, which is nice. And everybody's just like on the same mindset.
Yeah.
And with the same goal. So, yeah, it's hard to find that. Yeah.
Yeah, especially like, I mean, because probably like yourself, dude, I don't know, like when I was, you know, selling at Verizon in my old position, like I was like one of the top dudes, right? So I was like top 2, top 3, top 1 a lot of times, like for a long time. So there wasn't really much more that there was not, like here it's cool because it's all about elevation, right? Like I know that here, like, yes, I am a good closer, but like, dude, Ty has sold over 100,000 in a month. Same thing with, you know, East and like, you know, Boatman, Jesse, like there's so many people here who sell at such a high level. There's always like room for improvement. It's pretty neat too. Obviously, like the insurance industry, dude, like everybody's super open about like what they're doing, their leads, how they're closing. It's pretty neat. So like here you always have like that support. And I think having that in-office culture is really big, right? Because it's like rising tide raises all ships. Oh, yeah. I know if I worked at home, I wouldn't do shit.
No, I worked from home on last Wednesday. I think I made 10 dials. Damn. Right. It was like, but I was like, okay, I need to get a lot of like personal things done because like I'm always here.
Right.
Right. But it's like, okay, yeah, the weather's shitty. Okay, whatever. I'll drive. I don't care. Like, cause I know I'll get more out of it. But I also kind of want to backtrack of like you saying, okay, Ty and Easton, yeah, top dudes. I mean, $100+ grand. When I came in and you told me, oh yeah, Jesse, you know, was his biggest month? 62?
62,000.
Yeah. And I was like, no. I was just like, literally, I was just like,
crumble cookie, man.
Yeah. And I was like, there's no way. And you go, come here. And he just got off a call, just closed one.
Yeah.
And you're like, you asked him, hey, Jesse, how much? He's like, yeah, 62. And I was like, just like kept it to myself. And then he just like pulls up his ethos and like shows it, be like, what do you got?
I think his last 30 days was 27,600.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh,
that's just one insurance carrier.
Yeah. And literally, I was like, yeah, that's just one carrier. I was like, what do you mean one carrier? Then I was just like, okay. And that's what like kind of was the deciding factor. All right, jump the ship.
Yeah.
Go all on. Yeah.
Dude, I swear, man, especially for people like ourselves, that obviously you have like sales background, like we have that acumen. So seeing somebody who has no background in sales, like literally came from crumble cookie construction, like that was the background, 24 years old, just works his ass off. Like, I'm like, holy shit. Like, what a vehicle that, you know, could produce at such a high level. And obviously, he's just a product of the system. Like, he was really bad. You know what I mean? Like, he was terrible. Now, obviously, now he's, you know, crushing 30, 40, 50, 60K months.
It's sleeping, man. Like,
yeah.
It's crazy because he's just like, again, the tonality, I had learned it from listening to his calls. Right? There's like, he doesn't sound like he's a sales guy whatsoever.
No, not at all. But he is.
He doesn't strong arm anybody. Was like, he's just a sleeper, man.
Yeah.
Shout out J-Wags.
Yeah, shout out J-Wags, dude. And that's so cool, man, because obviously, like, we have like so many different backgrounds here, man, and like anything could succeed, right? I mean, you're from the, you know, family tire business to solar sales to car sales to phone sales. Like, there's so many things that, you know, people could succeed from. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I always get pretty passionate about that, dude, because like seeing it, it's just like, if you just lock in, like, as long as you're coachable, and let me ask you this, actually, I don't want to answer. What do you think makes an agent successful? Brand new agent.
I mean, you're just advanced. Just be a sponge. Just like be a student of the game. Do like, again, I can't emphasize it enough of just like, okay, if you come in, we have the structure. That's the thing here. Like, the structure is built out for us.
And that's probably the most important thing.
Follow it. if you just like follow it, come in, work 40 hours a week, right? You'll make 10 grand,
Mhm.
right? But like if you show up at every training, you make your dials, you show up for 1:00 training, and maybe do some admin work, go to the gym after that 2 to 3 hour window,
Right.
and then dial the rest of the evening until like 7 or 8.
Mhm.
Like you'll be you'll be 20 plus easily.
Oh yeah, and it's just a matter of time too, right?
Yeah, and some people are gonna pick it up faster than others. Again, I'm just blessed because I came from sales, so it's like all like overcoming the objections is not much different from the car business.
Right.
Now in car business, we upsold, here we have to downsell. That's where I had a hard transition.
Same.
Right?
Same.
Like, oh, and like I can't strong arm people into like buying this.
Yeah.
Right? You can, but then it's gonna charge back, which
Right.
that's all I dealt with in November.
Exactly. So
Right.
you're like, let's
But
not do
it's-
that.
Yeah, no, I mean just follow the structure that you guys are like paved for us. Literally, like that's all. Like, you, Johnny, Jesse, and Ty, like, hey, just follow this, dude, and we know you'll be a dog.
Oh yeah, and I want to talk about that structure too. Just because I think a lot of people will be pretty interested to hear that. So, kind of like general structure for like we always talk about like brand new agent. Jay's like, Jay starts today. Hey Chris, like, what do I gotta do? 8 a.m. script training, right? Like non-negotiable. Go to a script training, 9 to 12-ish, straight dials, all sales. Then 12 to 1, maybe realistically for a brand new person, still dial.
Yeah.
Maybe lunch. 1 and 2, next training, 1 to 2. And typically the 1 and 2 training is from somebody who's sold, 30, 40, 50 grand in a month, 100 plus, like they give a training, right? So obviously then we implement that. Maybe it's like objection training, script training, whatever it is. After that, another dial block, roughly basically like 2 to 8 dial.
Pretty much, yeah.
And that's going to give somebody the ability to succeed in a pretty quick time frame. So that schedule is followed Monday through Friday, Saturday more or less half day. You can work on Sunday. I mean, shit, yesterday I closed a $2,000 deal yesterday on a Sunday, 38-minute phone call. It's pretty sweet. But anyways, that's the structure that we talk about.
And just kind of like backtrack though, it's, dude, like when it came to December and I got hit with those chargebacks, I was like, I don't know if this is right for me. Like I didn't, and this is probably the hardest, easiest like job you can do. I wouldn't even call it a job, or a career. I mean, it's your business.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Because you come nothing out of pocket right off the rip if you decide to do lead assist.
Right.
But anyways, like what I'm trying to get at is, okay, my first week, I was looking at my own numbers. Like first week, I wrote like 4,500. I was like, whoa. Right. Then after that, I went like 2.5 weeks of like selling nothing. And I was just like, oh wait, if I don't sell, I don't get paid.
Right.
I don't have my base salary.
That's true.
Like I panicked.
Yeah.
Right. And then, I crunched some numbers. I was like, cool. Okay. I can close now, not to a super high level, but I was like, I'm confident I can do it by myself. That's what I was like, I'm just going to go broker. Screw it.
And that was kind of like that next step. Obviously, I think people make that like leap, and it is a leap, right?
Yeah, it's a terrifying leap.
Yeah. And I remember when I went broker, I was like, oh man, like, okay, so now, and what that means is basically on lead assist, pay for your leads, basically someone like myself cover the leads. As a full broker, you cover your own leads, but you're at a higher compensation. So on lead assist, you're at 65% of the annual premium. On full broker, you start at 80% unless you could earn higher tiers. So let's say Jay sold 10 grand back to back, he'd be at a 90%, and it goes all the way up to 120%. Then you could even get to higher ranks and compensation. But yeah, I mean, so obviously like, that leap to broker, I mean, obviously it was like the right move, looking back at it. Like, I mean, what was kind of going on in that time frame? Let's say in like December, were you just not closing? What was the, disconnect?
So like I mentioned, some ego got in the way. I still wrote, I think like close to 20 in December, but like probably over half of that went all to chargebacks.
Oh, shit.
Right. Which I'm like, cool. I wrote a lot. Where the hell's that money? But it was because, again, just like literally strong arming people to buy a policy. Like I went the car route.
Yeah.
Again, ego got in the way. And then not being aware of like, oh, I'm fighting over a $50 monthly deal.
No. Yeah. Can't
right.
do that.
Yeah. But again, I mean, I learned the hard way. So now it's like, oh, you can't afford $60. Cool, I can't help you.
All right. On to the next.
Yeah, dude. I am not interested in that.
Right.
Right. Even 60, like I'm like, So, Yeah, and then again, I went like 2 weeks with like nothing, and then my ethos was just like negative 6,000. I was like,
Oh wow,
oh, it was,
dude.
yeah.
Ouch.
I was just like, ooh, all right. Do I just go back to corporate?
Yeah.
You know, and then I switched up my leads because I was in the mix. Again, I did a lot of experience. I went from one campaign, would stop at the next, start a different one, stop it. And again, trial and error, I'm like, oh, wait, if you want your, like they say, lead flow is your cash flow.
Right.
If you start a campaign, just feed it, feed it, feed it, feed it. Right. And I didn't know that. And then I finally figured it out, changed my leads. And like, since then I've just been running straight life. And then like last month, like mid-January is like when everything really like just clicked and came together.
Dude, yeah, and like I mean, like I said, dude, like now it's like completely 360. Like you're closing at a really high good clip, dude. I would say arguably like as far as like percentage of closers, you're probably at the top, like top 5, like from what I've heard as far as like the closing objection, just everything, dude. Like you sound really good. I'm not trying to talk you up, like that's just
no. It's
I heard you, and it's like damn.
Because again, like I was so scared of like starting where I'm like, okay, I need to like because I live by a script. Like on my last job, my role, I had to train finance guys to memorize scripts. Like my old mentor used to tell me, like words and phrases closes you deals.
Yeah,
and that's how it is. Like the way you word things here, it's gonna make you money.
right.
You just have to say it with the right tonality, right attitude.
Yeah,
and again, build a story, and boom,
I'll close.
Yeah.
That's dope, dude. Hell yeah. Okay, so then obviously, so you made the switch from broker. Now it's starting to like work out pretty well. Like now, like what are your goals? Like what are you aiming for in like 2025? It's February.
Yeah, it's February. I wanted to write minimum 30K this month. Last week was brutal, but the crazy thing about this business is it's fine. I mean, I can write 15 this week, and I'm like back on track.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So the goal's 30 this month, and get my comp bumped up again.
Oh yeah.
But the goal, like for the year, I mean, like bare minimums. I mean, Hall of Fame, 400K.
It's 400 grand.
Yeah, 400 grand. That's like bare minimum goal, and then eventually start recruiting. I'm terrible at recruiting. Like you're good at like building your business. Like you're good at closing, good at training, and you're also good at recruiting. Me, I'm like, I don't know how the hell you do it. I'm like, that's a weakness of mine. Like, but it's not a priority for me right now because it's like, dude, because here, if I can write 30, 40, 50K in a month, all I have to do to like, because I want to recruit nothing my car guys, it's like, cool, man. Hey, you want to do this? They'll be like, I don't know. Cool. Here's my pay stub. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's an easy, right? Because that's how car guys are.
Yeah. And that's why I would recommend too, man. Like for me, it's always been like, I don't know, like for the way I always look at like recruiting, it's like a couple things. Like one, I'm not selfish. Like this shit's absolutely changed. I kind of sometimes hate that, like, oh, this shit's changed my life. But no, it really did, man. I was in a pretty fucked up state 7 months ago. And just go from 7 months to like where we're at now, dude, like, you know, consistently writing 30, 40, 50, you know, well, not 50, 30, 40K a month. Plus, you know, having some team volume, like dude, it's amazing. But I would say it's always just like a thing of like just showing, just being honest. You know, it's like, dude, this is what I got paid. This is what I got charged back. This is how much I spend. And obviously, like the A players will see that in the opportunity.
No, 100%. And that's like part of it too. It's like, hey, you're not selfish. It's like when I first came in, I was like, dude, well, like you and like Ty and all this is like, we'll take care of you, dude. Like, just follow what we tell you, and the rest, like, will be there for you. And it's my job just gonna like close it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, we're set up for so much, like, to be successful, like right off the rip.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, dude, I think you probably understand that better than most, especially coming from two different agencies, right? I mean, one from that lady that you spoke of, and the other like FFL.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, but again, it was just like, just here, dude. I'm like, I don't know what buying. Again, I didn't understand anything. That's why, like, when you told me, I was like, good luck, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then clearly here I am. I chased, right? And then it was just like, screw it, why not?
All right. Oh yeah, like what's the worst thing that happened, man? Like you're gonna learn something, you're gonna get a little bit better. And dude, now it's like, I mean, I don't know, dude. Like I'm feeling super blessed, bro. Like everything's looking like really good. But yeah, dude, I'm super pumped for you. I guess for someone who's like thinking about, you know, potentially making the jump to life insurance, like what would you tell that person? Like yeah, what would you recommend?
You know, it's like I'd be straight honest with them. Like it sucks the first couple weeks.
I agree. Yeah.
Like you're gonna have to dial a lot. that's my weakness. I need to get my dial up. Like I'm not.
Let's teach Jay how to hit 50K because he could close better than most 50K reps. I
Yeah, and
guarantee
here's
that.
just teach me how to make 250 calls. Like I'm throwing myself under the bus, but here's like I'm constantly on the phone,
right.
right? But no, like it sucks right off the bat. You're gonna have to make 300-400 calls a day. You're gonna go 3 days to 3 weeks with no sales, right? But once you close your first one, I don't know, like that, the feeling of like closing your first deal, helping a family, right? Oh, and you're knowing you're gonna get paid in a couple days. It's like cool. Then like that, I don't know, that energy like rolls into your next call and like you feel so much better and more confident.
Oh, dude, for sure.
And the thing is like our clients can sense that.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
this dude's confident. Oh, he's a professional.
Yeah.
It's going to make everything easier. So it's just like, and Jesse has said this. He's like, he got his face kicked in for months. He
Yeah.
goes, dude, you just got to show up the next day. And like, that's the thing, this being here, it's a lot of mental toughness. It really is. Because there's days it's like bunch of FUs, pound sand, go kill yourself.
Yeah.
When I like first got on, man, and I got that, like I took that shit personal.
No, you can't.
And you can't, right? Like at first I was like, gee, what? Like, dude, I'm just a human behind a phone. Like, you want to tell me this to my face?
Oh, of course.
And now it's just like they tell me like, oh, cool, man. So do you want insurance or?
So did you want insurance or not? Is
Yeah, do you want-
Michelle a priority for you or not?
Yeah, like now it's like, okay, whatever, cuss me out. I got thousands of other people that need help, that actually want the help.
Right.
So I guess, well, sorry to answer your question.
No, you're good. You
No, I mean, literally just like,
sucks in the beginning.
it sucks in the beginning,
Yeah.
right? But you can make a lot of money if you give it time. And you guys say 90 days. Easton has said 90 days. Ty has said 90 days. Give it 90 days, and it's going to click.
Damn. And you're really, I mean, yeah, because you started late October. So November, December, January.
Literally mid-January is like my second week is literally when it clicked. And I was like, dude, that's like my 98 days was coming up. Because I was like, if I can't figure it out in 90 days, like I'm out.
Right. You should,
it's
as
not-
you should.
Yeah, it's
I
not
agree.
for me. And I'm like, well, I have no other choice though. Like, because I told Madison, I was like, my goal is to, by the way, my fiance, she's a police officer. She's badass.
Yeah. Shout out Madison.
My goal is to get her out of being a patrol officer, right? Like, give her goals, whatever, cool. Just be the stay-at-home wife. Like, that's the goal. So I'm like, okay, I can't let her down now because that's a huge promise like that I did to myself, right?
Right. And especially too, like knowing that you have the vehicle and the ability to do so.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, then it just becomes, I mean, as men, I think it becomes a responsibility, right? It's like, okay, like I understand this. There's people who are not better than me necessarily. Like they're just, they're dialed in. They work hard. Like, you know, Ty, he's not really, I would say he's gifted in his ability to work hard. Yeah. He's not really a gifted salesperson, in my opinion. I've met a few gifted salespeople that are like just crazy good. Like he just works his ass off.
I guess a good example is like at the convention, like top dudes that were writing $800-900 $1 million a year, and like they did part of their script training, and I was just like, my jaw dropped.
Terrible.
I was just like, you sound like that on the phone, and you sold $1 million.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay, get your activity up.
Right.
Just hammer the phones and like get your lead flow up.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I should write $1 million. Like if that guy can do it and sound that bad, dude, I'm like,
it's pretty eye opening.
No, it really is. And you got 19-year-olds doing 300,000 in 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's like,
or dude, that what was that guy's name? Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. I don't even know him, but dude literally didn't know English, and then he wrote 250,000, I think, in 6 or 7 months.
Yeah. Learned English by listening to the script.
Yeah, dude, that's insane, bro. Like, and then he wrote that amount of business, which I said, you guys do the math. Roughly 75% cash advance on that. Let's say 10% fall off chargebacks. Learning a whole new language, not from here, immigrant.
Yeah, I remember like
shout out to that guy. Yeah.
Me, you, and Johnny all looked at each other like, all right, no more excuses. Like,
dude, yeah.
But I mean, that's like a proven. It's like, yeah, if that dude can do that much business. Now it's just like, okay, just lock in during the week while you're in the office, and we can easily hit those numbers
for sure. And dude, like the cool thing is obviously like, everybody here is like, we're on such a good team to do that too. Like we have so much help, so much support here in office. Like it's really just at the end of the day, it's like up to us, right? Real quick. Okay. So you said for the new agent, then 90 days, give it your all.
90 days. Show up to the trainings. 8 a.m., 1 p.m. 8 a.m. is good, right? But I think 1 p.m. is because it's like objection handling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it sounds repetitive because I get it. Like I've been on like a repetitive, but it's like I'm starting to learn like every time I'm in there, even like I'll pick something new from a new guy just because like he came from a different sales background. I'm like, ooh, I like that word track. I'm going to put it in my back pocket.
Yep.
Right. But I think those two are like, priority on the list.
Mm-hmm.
But that beats that. Read and memorize the fucking script. I will die by that. Like the fact that people just don't want to do it, whatever.
No, dude, they don't. I'm like, what the heck, dude? Like this is literally
it does the job for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna sound like a robot, that whatever. Mm-hmm. But then like, okay, bring it to one of the leaders. They'll close it for you.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, I think those are like just show up to the trainings, memorize the script, be coachable, and you're good. Like everything else is like paid for us.
Right. Hell yeah, man. That's exciting, dude. Well, bro, I'm pumped, man. Obviously, dude, it's super pumped to have you on the team and everything. It's really cool to see, you know, everything that's going on with you. But anyways, guys, if you guys have any questions for Mr. J here, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Leave them in the comment section below. All right, everybody. Peace.
Later.